Hello, and welcome back to the Crystal City Witches podcast. You're here with Ariana and Jax. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching. Thank you to anyone who has joined our subscriber list here on YouTube and has watched our clips on Instagram and just joined us for this incredible new journey that we're having with this new amazing podcast. So today is episode 2, and we are talking about the desire for sisterhood, um, communication and community, and we are also talking about loss in relationships. And so we're going to have Ariana take the lead here and kind of steer us in all these beautiful conversations. We're so excited for you guys to be joining us. So let's go ahead and get into it. Ariana, take us away, girl.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to discuss the importance of community. Community is something that I'm really big on, and I mean like actual community, like healthy community. Like, I love you, you love me. I was about to start singing a song. I can't remember. But
Anyway,
it's like I love you, you love me. We are there for one another. We can depend on one another. There's balance there. I just adore things like that. I actually did an interview once all about the importance of community. So I'm really, really I get really fired up about things like this. Like, even being here with you right now, being in community right now is really, really beautiful. Like, I think, you know what? I think something that's important that we should discuss that we didn't get to on the last one is, how did we meet? Like, how did we
oh,
discover one another? How did we come into community with each other? I feel like we can't talk about community without talking about us as a community. So if you wanna hop in for that.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's funny, we both live in the same city. We both live in LA. But I think we met on Threads. And then started following each other on Instagram. And I don't think it was very long before we both realized that we were both in LA, like 5 miles from each other, which is wild. Like, of all the people that we can connect with online, to realize that like we live like a 15-minute drive of each other, which is totally wild. And just, having this instant like community with you has been incredible. Like, I love it. Like, it's just, we were meant to connect. And I definitely agree, like having this sense of community is so important. We're, as human beings, we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to be in, communities of people with various strengths and abilities, and shared values and shared morals, that we can do life with. And having community just in general is so important, not only to your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, but also like your physical health. Like, going back to our roots, like our ancestors, they lived in communities for literal physical protection as well. You had the people who could go and hunt and build all of the spaces that your community needed. So the housing, the like food hall or whatever, you had all of those people, and then you had all of the people who could, you know, gather food, who could heal people, who could fix things, who could make new things. You had to rely on your community to be able to survive. And now that we can just buy anything that we want, um, I think, we've kind of, as a society, gotten away from having community and finding community. But, with the internet, like opening up all of these possibilities of finding your community, even online, it's changed the dynamics of community. So you can have community, but be it in an online space, instead of literally, being bound to where you live and having that community with the people that are around you, physically, within, your immediate, space. Like, people don't know their neighbors, but they might have that might not be their community. They might have a community of online people. And so it's definitely something that like I feel like society has gotten away from. But we've kind of developed this community um, between us. You know, we found this community in each other online, which is so it's so cool. I love it. Yeah. But that's just kind of like what I mean, that's what I remember about us meeting. I don't even remember what like post it was on. Probably something to do with like crystals or some kind of witchy something, but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it was like we just found each other online, and then we've kind of been building this community with each other ever since. So yeah.
Yes, yes. That's that is exactly how we met. I remember how I found out that we lived in the same city. It was a post on Threads about like that Griffith Park meetup for all of like the spiritual threads community, and
Okay.
you had commented on it, and I was like, wait, what, you live in the same city? Oh my gosh. But I don't remember like the first like, ooh, follow, hello. I don't remember any of that, but I love you.
I love it too. I think it's funny because like Threads was such a good place. Like the algorithm you can really tailor to like what you actually want to see. It's really easy um to like have your posts be put out to the people that you share different enjoyable things with, and you get that back on your own feed. And so it's probably something we probably, followed the same person or just found each other randomly because that's what the algorithm does. Even if you have no posts and you're like, hey, algorithm, align me with plant moms, pet owners, and spiritual people. And you like go and like that and you're like, oh, cool, I like those things too. And then somebody else comes along and then they look at your page and they're like, oh, this is my person. Like this is the person I'm going to build community with. It's so easy to do that. It's an incredible like social media platform that I really really like. Yeah, I dig it. But
I
yeah,
oops,
yeah. Go ahead,
there's
sorry.
a no, 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 not you. There's a truck coming by right now, and it's loud.
Oh, got you. But we'll edit this part out. It's
Come on.
okay. We'll see.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Um, okay, it's gone now. Perfect. So
Awesome.
yeah, I like that we've been discussing like the importance of online community as well, because not everyone is able to be in community with those around them. Just because you're like around someone doesn't mean that you're meant to be in community with each other, is my personal belief. And that's okay. Like maybe your people are in like another city or another state or even another country for all you know.
Yeah,
I feel like I like how being online has opened us up to connecting with so many people, but also at the same time it makes me feel a little, it's sad because you can't be around those people all the time. Like, oh, I do wish I could go down the street. Like, I wish you lived down the street so I could just walk to your house or something. Like, that would be really, really great. So I find that online spaces, they create that community, but sometimes it can get a bit lonely, is how
yeah.
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about um physical, like being in a physical space with other people that are within your community. So like you can have tons of online friends in this online community and still feel really alone because you're physically alone. And having, that community within your space that you can just go walk down the streets and be in that physical space of another person. There's something to be said about that for sure. And that's kind of the way that we've like evolved as humans to be able to rely on our community that literally lived in the same areas that we lived, being around these people. And like I mean, just in if we think go back a couple of generations, like our grandparents, like their community was literally in their town. Like they could go next door and be like, "Hey, do you have sugar?" Like, "Oh, I'm going through a hard time. I just want to come over and like have a drink with you," or "Oh, can your husband fix um my window because my husband passed away," or whatever. Like there was that sense of community within your neighbors and within your neighborhood. And I think the whole online space, there's like a pro and a con with it, because we're able to
Yeah.
build our community with anyone in the world, even people in our own city that, we are outside of our neighborhood, but anybody in the entire world. And also, it has removed this need to like get to know our neighbors and get to build community with those people. And really get to know the people in our own town, and like really really build that community there, which not some of us have not the best neighbors or people that we necessarily align with, so maybe it's for the better sometimes, um but yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You don't Nobody knows their neighbors anymore. Nobody goes over and asks for like a cup of salt, or whatever, a cup of sugar or whatever it is. But you have this chance to build the community online. And it gives you that opportunity to find the people who align with your values and your morals and your interests and all that sort of thing. So it's a double-edged sword there, in my opinion. I mean, I think it's amazing that like we've both found each other and we live in the same city, so like we can get together when we want to, like um you know whenever either one of us wants to drive, which is 15 minutes away, which is not an LA thing. Nobody wants to do that here. Everybody's like, I have to drive how far? How many minutes? I have to be in traffic for how long? But having that ability to be able to go and see each other, I think it's different. Okay.
So, something that I really want to talk about, you know, moving away. Well, actually, it's not moving away from the importance of community. I feel like it's diving deeper into the importance of community, and how something I've really been desiring in life is desiring sisterhood. Like, I. I love having friends no matter who they are, but there's just something about a sisterhood that really like butters my biscuits. like what we have, I think it's really cool. I think it's really beautiful, and I would love to have just more of that. Like, it makes me think of like high school. Given back then I couldn't like I wasn't in a place to appreciate those things, but having so many like girlfriends around all the time was really nice actually, and I do kind of miss that, and I would like that in a more adult, healthier, boundary filled type of way.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think back to, being in high school and being in college and having like your group of girlfriends that you like shared with and that like you did everything with. Having that like that not only just that community, but like that sisterhood. And as an adult too, it's like really hard to like build that with people. And I love that we have that. And absolutely, like building that sisterhood with like a group of women really changes a lot of things, like in your emotional health. Having those women that you can rely on, that are going to like have your back and be there for you, and you the same thing for them. um it's challenging to find that in our adult lives, but it's definitely something that like I desire as well, having those like few friends. Like, I don't need a huge group, like quality over quantity. Just having those few women that like I really have that deep sisterhood connection with is really like really important for sure.
Ooh, I agree with you. I agree with you. Definitely the quality over quantity. Like, that was something that was really interesting for me to have to learn as I like made my way through my 20s, especially. Like, it's okay to have less friends. The quality of those people around you is what really matters. Like, I I don't know. I would just enjoy having more, like, even more quality friendships. And I do want to take a moment to highlight the friendships that I do have. I don't want my friends to watch this and be like, oh my God, she has us. She doesn't even care about us. I love my friends. I adore my friends. My friends are just amazing people, and I don't know where I would be at in life without, you know, any of you. So,
Yeah.
taking that second to highlight everybody and let them know that I love them, because I do, and you guys make life just more beautiful, I would say.
Yes, same. Absolutely. Shout out to all of my friends that make my life more beautiful, like exactly the same. And wanting more and deeper connection doesn't negate like the friendships that you do hold. Like every friendship that you have plays a different role in your life. And I think it's okay and it should be normalized to have like that desire to want deeper connections with new people and with the people that you do have in your life. Because I think, there's that kind of fear like, oh, well, if it comes back to like, in high school, like if you start hanging out with somebody new, like your current friends were like, oh, well, she doesn't like us anymore. And it's like, no, that's not true. You know, I still like you guys, and we just everybody has a different connection in your life. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to, find people who share different interests with you. So you might have that one friend that's like all about shopping with you. You might have that one friend that's like outdoor buddy with you. And you might have that one friend that, fits another role. And so you it's okay to like want different things and different relationships from different people.
Ooh, absolutely. Because I feel like me and you hanging out in person, it's going to be like, are we going hiking? Are we hiking friends? I think we're hiking friends, dude.
Yeah, girl. Let's do Runyon Canyon. I love it. It's so quiet and beautiful up there. Like we just whole spiritual experience up at the top.
I would love that. That sounds beautiful. It's just doing things like that, and it's okay. Like, I'm a firm believer in, if your friend says they don't want to do something, I don't think your response should be, "Oh, but you haven't done it with me." Sometimes people just don't like stuff, and it's okay to have friends that like the same things as you. Not all of your friends are going to like the same things as you, and that's okay. I used to know someone that wanted to take me out to the loudest, the most people populated place, like all the places that I really don't want to go
Yeah.
to. And I'd be like super anxious, having panic attacks, and they're just like not listening to me. That's another thing. When I brought up healthy connections and healthy friendships and friendships that have boundaries, like boundaries are really important, guys. Like, boundaries are for everyone, and I think we sometimes need a reminder of that, because they're like, no, this person's like my sister, or they're like my brother. Boundaries aren't for them. No, 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 no. Boundaries are for everyone. Everyone.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like because in a healthy relationship, you can express those boundaries and they can express their boundaries to you and you can hold that that line with each other and there's like a mutual understanding like it's not like a personal attack against you, it's just this is what I need for my personal health, my emotional, mental, physical health, my spiritual health, and to express those boundaries, like is boundaries is for everyone. They are for everyone, um, even in familiar relationships, whether that's by blood or by choice. You have to have those boundaries because if you don't, it's almost like you lose a sense of like who you are. Um, and even in like a sisterhood relationship, you're going to have those like people who like different things and want to do different things. And it's important to have like those boundaries in place of like, it makes me really nervous to go into like, high people environments, like crazy concerts, or, just like going to the mall gives me anxiety. Like that's not something that we can do. And that's also plays a big part into like having multiple people to fulfill those different interests and those needs in your life, like having that group of women that you can go and hang out and do different things with based on like their boundaries and their likes, and how you interact in different spaces.
Ooh, yes, I totally agree with you. And I do want to say to all the people out there, boundaries are so attractive.
Yeah.
I look for strong boundaries in the connections that I make with other people, because it's not really going to work if I have all these boundaries and the other person just doesn't. It's
Yeah.
probably going to make me seem like a really mean, stoic type of person, because they're like, no, 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 she is this way, but in reality, it's just me being having strong boundaries. It
Yeah.
doesn't really have anything to do with me having like my walls up or anything.
Yeah.
And I really love the people that can respect like people's boundaries, because another topic that I did want to talk about today is dealing with the loss of friendship and relationships.
Mhm.
And I find that disrespecting and disregarding my boundaries as my friend or even as my partner, those are one of my like actually I was going to call it an unspoken rule. It's not unspoken because I tell everyone like this is how I
I
am.
think that's
It's
very
very known actually. It's not a secret. Like, don't disrespect my boundaries, and we can have conversations about it. We can talk, we can try to hash things out, but at some point I honestly will am like I'm ready to throw in the towel, because we're all adults here is how I see it.
yeah.
And we understand wrong from right, like
Yeah.
honestly. And sometimes you just get tired of people telling people wrong from right. Like, hey,
Mhm.
you hurt me again for like the 45th time, and
Yeah. And at that point, it's
it's
like,
not going.
your boundaries don't even exist anymore. It's not only just setting those boundaries, it's enforcing those boundaries. And if you allow somebody to continually violate those, then what is the point? Whether that's in a romantic relationship or a friendship or even just an acquaintanceship or even at work. You have to hold those boundaries, and like sometimes you've got to cut people out of your life. Sometimes, with love, you've got to be like, because I love and respect myself and I have these boundaries with myself, and with other people, like I will no longer allow you access to my energy and me, because you have shown me that you cannot like respect my wishes. And it's okay to like, lovingly release people from your life because they continually violate those boundaries.
Ooh, that was good. That was really, really good. And to add to that, just so everyone remembers, like this includes familial relationships. It does include your relationship with your family members. Because I feel like that's where like there's a gray area. People are like, oh, boundaries for all these people, but not for your family. And I'm like, no, honestly, those are probably where you need the most boundaries. Like, break out
Yeah.
those boundaries, baby. You
Yeah.
that's so freaking important. Like, don't allow your family members to walk all over you just because they're your family members, or just because they're your best friend, or just because that's your partner, or you've been with them for 45 years. Like, it's no, those boundaries still go for everyone. I don't care if you've been together for 100 years of your life. Boundaries still matter, no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that like a lot of people definitely struggle with is, oh, well, that's my mom, or that's, like my, sister or whoever. Um, and yeah, that's my partner. Like you still have to have those boundaries, and it's okay to start those boundaries, because boundaries aren't just about like, they aren't about controlling the other person. They're about controlling your reaction and your expectations and what you will allow and how you expect to be treated. So if somebody's
Yeah.
disrespecting you, setting those boundaries of, it really impacts me when you know, when you're like doing this behavior, um, this is not something that I accept. And so if this continues to happen, then I'm not going to be available for, you know, anything that you need pertaining to this. Or, if you continue to put me down, um, we're not going to talk. I'm not going to engage with you. And that's something that's really hard to do in family, because you feel like you have this obligation to them, like this blood connection. And while that may be that you have this blood connection, it doesn't take away from like needing to set boundaries and needing to protect your peace and protect your energy and protect your like emotional and mental, spiritual, physical health. And that's something I think a lot of people like struggle with, and something that like I've had to learn over the years. And I think it comes from this learning of self-respect and self-love and self-worth. I think you have to build those things first in order to be able to like express and reinforce boundaries with other people.
Ooh. Ooh. You're right. You're 100% right. That was beautiful. You I hope someone like much younger comes across this video and they hear
Mhm.
that part especially.
Yeah, I
That's
feel like
so freaking important.
I feel like definitely the right person who needs to hear that message will absolutely hear it. Somebody, like a younger version of us, in their early 20s, that hasn't quite figured that out. They're like, "Well, boundaries, like what is that? How can I even set boundaries?" You have to develop a relationship of self-love, self-respect, and self-worth within yourself, and love yourself first in order to set boundaries and enforce them and be okay with that. It's hard, but you can do it. You can absolutely do it.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Snaps. All the snaps. No, you can absolutely do it. Just know that, what can I say? That change takes time.
Yeah,
And healing, this is like a reoccurring thing that I've been saying, and I'm currently writing something about it, but it's the title is Healing is Hard, but it's so worth it.
yeah. True.
Because it is. It's not like an overnight thing either. And I feel like, especially when it comes to our connections with other people, like healing around other people, and with healing comes boundaries, and asserting those boundaries are a whole nother like foothill to have to deal with. Like,
Yeah.
so, something else that I have learned is certain connections aren't going to survive through your healing.
Yes.
Certain connections were built for that version of you that was you before, and this is you now.
Yeah.
Your friends aren't always going to like this new more healed version of you. Like, you might not be in alignment anymore, and that's not to say
Yeah.
like, oh well, I don't want to lose my friends, I'm just not going to heal. One, do what you feel is right for you, but
Yeah.
don't let that be a reason to stop your own personal like growth and healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, some people come into our lives for different reasons. There's that old saying that some people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And, you know, if you change a certain thing about yourself, and your friends, or a certain friend is like, "Oh, I don't like this new part of you." Now, if you've changed for the worse, they may have a point. But if you're healing and, you're doing what's best for you and your higher self and your self growth and improvement, and they don't like that part of yourself, it may be just time to reevaluate. Maybe this person doesn't fit into the person I'm trying to become, or the person that I have become. And it's up to you whether you want to, restructure that friendship, and, or if, it's just time to separate. Um, and be very conscious and love, and be very loving when doing that. Um, but, people pass through our lives for different reasons and for different amounts of time. And it's okay. That's completely normal. Like, I don't have a lot of friends from, you know, when I was back in like elementary school, middle school, high school, college, because I was a different person then than I am now. I've changed a lot, I've healed a lot, I've grown a lot, and so a lot of those people just simply aren't in alignment, and that's completely okay. Like, that's normal. Like, it's very rare to find somebody that you've had a friendship with for a really long time, like decades, because as human beings, we change a lot. And so you may not be in alignment with somebody that you used to be in alignment with. And so it's just kind of like finding that inner peace with that, and realizing that it's not a bad thing. It's not like this horrible thing that you've lost your friends. It may feel like that in the moment, 100%. You may be grieving that friendship because what you had was so good. But also recognizing that if that friendship fell apart because you've grown, that's something to, not like grieve over, like, you know, it's something to be celebrated for you, because you've grown and you've improved. Um, but it's still hard, to lose those
Yeah,
friendships. It's still really
I
difficult to,
agree. I
yeah,
agree a
yeah,
thousand percent.
yeah. It's hard, but it's something to be celebrated too, because you've grown and you've become a whole new person.
I agree with you. That was beautiful. Like, that was very insightful, very like introspective. I like the examples that you shared as well. Like, that was really, really cool. And I love that you brought up, some people are just there for a season. Sometimes you don't know the reason why someone's been placed into your life, and that's perfectly okay. That's why I always say it's important to appreciate people while they're there or while they're in your life, because you don't know what could happen.
Yeah,
Like, maybe the connection isn't meant to last, but that doesn't mean you don't love that person in that moment and you don't appreciate them in that moment. You just need to really speak on it. So,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Cherish people when they are in your life. You never know what's gonna happen. Exactly, and like, give compliments and give love freely, and really enjoy the time that you have with people, because you never know what's gonna happen in life. Life is crazy, anything can happen. And so just really like speaking on that, and speaking life and love into people that are in your life. Giving love freely, giving compliments freely, telling people that you appreciate them, checking in on them, telling them that you love them. It's so important, because, like, at the end of the day, if something, happens, or, whatever, you're going to look back and be like, I wish I had said that thing. I wish I had said how much I love them. I wish I had said, how much I appreciated them for being there with me. And so it's really important to like cherish those relationships while you have them, and really share that love while you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes, 1,000%. I agree with that. That's why I love telling people that I love them. Like, I love people always saying, like, you're so kind and like patient. I'm like, there could come a day where I'm not able to be kind or patient because you're not in my life or something. Like, I tell myself that about like my cats when my cats really piss me off. I'm just like, you know what? Let me take a breather. Let me take a moment, because I would love to have like my cat that passed away, Cleo. I would love to have her here irritating me,
Yeah.
because at least she'd be here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, you guys are irritating me, but this is just how it goes, and I want to appreciate you even through these moments that aren't as enjoyable in the moment, but there's something that I can probably look back on and like laugh about later on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do the same thing with my dogs. Like when they're annoying me, I'll just be like, you know what? I love you so much. Rawr. And they're just like, yeah. And then, giving them that love, like even when you're like upset with somebody, recognizing that you still love them and that you still care about them. Like it's almost it's it's like this very healthy, like, I don't want to call it a split, but you can simultaneously recognize that like somebody's irritating you and you love them at the same time, and not, taking this like frustration or, negative energy out on, you know, somebody else, just sitting with that and still like giving them that love, because one day it may not be there. And so even if you're not, fully embodying that relationship, or that vibration, is still, cherishing that relationship and still valuing the connection that you have.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's your round of applause.
My round of applause. Round of applause for you
Round of
as well, my
applause.
dear.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Well, on my end, that's all that I had that I wanted to talk about today. Did you have anything that you wanted to interject?
no, I feel like I've said what's on my heart, and we've had a really good discussion about, everything pertaining to relationships today. Like, um, relationships are hard, but if you come into every relationship with like this love for yourself and this love for other people, it makes life more beautiful, and you can really build strong relationships, um, in knowing your boundaries, and in knowing who you are, and knowing what you want out of your relationships. You can really hone in and be selective in picking people that you hang out with. I think that's really important, as being something that I've learned, is being really selective about who I allow access to my energy and who I give my energy to. Being very
Ooh,
selective about that. Being conscious and intentional with my energy and my access to my energy, I think is really important.
ooh. Oh,
So,
same,
yeah.
same, same. That's really, really important. Like you do want to make sure that you're being wise with your energy. You're not just passing it out like candy on Halloween every day
Yeah.
of the year. Like
Yeah.
definitely protect yourself, protect your boundaries, like protect yourself energetically. Just
Yeah.
there those things are really, really, really important. So
Yeah.
if you've taken anything from this, especially take from that part. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Protect your energy. Consciously
Protect
and
your energy.
intentionally be selective who you give your energy to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. So, um,
Yeah.
Jax,
With that,
did you wanna lead us out or did you want me to do it?
go for it, my dear. Lead us out. Lead
Ooh,
us into the day.
okay. Okay, so this is the official close of the Crystal City Witches podcast episode dose, because I am becoming a bilingual queen, you guys, okay? I'm learning Spanish for the 45th time, okay? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But thank you so much for tuning in. We
Yeah.
can't wait to see you in episode 3, actually. Tell
Yes.
your friends, tell your family members, tell
Yes.
the animals outside of the house, tell everybody to come subscribe. And if there's any topics that you want to see us talk about, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media on our individual platforms. We'll go ahead and list that below as well. But thank you so much, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.